Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I do want to welcome you to the channel wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thank you so much for watching. Today, we're going to talk about the war, the fake FUD, the whales, and the Golden Cross. It does sound like a little bit of a title from a movie, but there you go. And of course, before we jump into the news and the charts, you know what I'm going to say. If you're a regular watcher, smash that like button. This does help get this channel out to more people and does help support the channel. And I do appreciate all the kind words that people take the time to write and leave in the comment section. And of course, all the questions also that people leave there as well. I look to get back to as soon as I'm able to. And also the cheat sheet, I get asked where that is on a daily basis. It's below in the description of this video and every video that I put out there. And it's my roadmap for bull market success. A lot of free educational videos and links to resources and of course entries and take profits for crypto and stocks, because I have the stock show coming up on Sunday tomorrow. And of course, we have the link to the Stocks with Josh Discord. So if you haven't signed up for with the Discord yet, that was a buzz last night, lit up as the Bitcoin took a little bit of a drop and the alts took a little bit of a hammering there. And so if you haven't done that yet, you would love to join us in that community. I'm in the crypto channel there every day. The link also is below in the description and on the cheat sheet. Okay, we're going to jump into the news, and the first bit of news we're looking at here is Tether are refuting. The Wall Street Journal put out an article which spread like wildfire and momentarily initially had dropped the price, and they've come out just refuting this article. We would know if we're being investigated, as this article falsely claimed. Based on that, we can confirm that the allegations in the article are unequivocally false. And so shame on the Wall Street Journal, that hit piece, that FUD, that fake FUD that went out yesterday. But certainly it almost felt like, are we going to get another, is China going to ban Bitcoin again? It's one thing or another, but certainly I think the majority of people did not fall for this. As soon as I saw this, I was like, oh my goodness, I can't wait for Tether to come out and just say that this is just some fake FUD. It just seems to be rolled out at least once a year there as well. But then we did have the conflict in the Middle East a bit later on. Of course, that flared up between Israel and Iran, and we did see the markets, particularly the altcoins, take a hammering there. And certainly we'll be talking about that in the altcoin show coming up in a couple of hours. But Bitcoin actually did pretty well and bounced back fairly quickly, and we can see why that happened, because the whales stepped up. The whales stepped up big time, and the whale holdings are now at an all-time high. So whales currently hold around 670,000 Bitcoin, which is the highest value ever. Undoubtedly, this is an optimistic long-term sign. Thanks for Crypto Quant for giving that statistic. And so it's very important to note, while retail is panic selling, the whales are just scooping up more and more and more Bitcoin. So certainly I do feel that is a sign of optimism. We are in the fourth quarter of a halving year, which historically has been very, very bullish. And of course, what could be more bullish than an impending golden cross? And we will look at this in the charts in a moment, but you can see the difference between a golden cross and a death cross here. It's when the 50-day moving average moves above the 200 moving average. But it is usually a bit of a lagging indicator. It's a lagging indicator because the move usually has already started. And we're going to look at that in the charts in a moment. But once the news starts to spread of an impending golden cross and how bullish this is and what's happened in the markets after a golden cross, and it begins to go out, as some positive news. I don't know what the opposite of FUD is, but certainly that is going to start to spread around, and retail could start to enter the party a little bit more, and we could see an up. Whereas when you look at the death cross here, you can actually see that the death cross is when the 50-day moving average goes below the 200 moving average. These are the simple moving averages as well, just by the way. And so having both of these charts are quite on both these charts, having both these moving averages on the charts is quite helpful. And certainly, again, this tends to be a lagging indicator as well. By the time the death cross happens, a big part of the move has usually already happened, okay? So just teaching you about the golden cross, the 50-day moving average going above the 200-day moving average, and the death cross is the exact opposite of that. All right, let's jump into the charts here and let's see what we can see with Bitcoin. But before we go to Bitcoin, we're going to go to Bitcoin dominance, okay? So Bitcoin dominance here, we have broken out of the tribal trades trend line, the ascending channel that it is in, which is actually a bearish pattern. But I do think this will be a deviation here outside. I think what we saw last night was just a flight to safety as people sold their alt positions into Bitcoin. Obviously, some of them sold it into USDT or stable coins. But certainly here, I would expect to come back into the range here. And at some point, come down. There is some down at 57, but actually break down below here. And we actually have the 200 EMA on the daily there at about 56%. But I do expect a breakdown out of this channel at some point, and this is why we saw alts take an absolute smashing. Alts took when Bitcoin dominance goes up, alts usually obviously get hammered because more money is flowing into Bitcoin. But let's jump to the Bitcoin charts, and I didn't draw a tribal trades trend line at this level here, which is the 66,500. I did have an alert there, and it's gone. I guess it got hit, but certainly there. We are seeing, and I will put a little bit of an alert there for 66,500, and identified this level numerous times because this is where the high in September came in. And as you can see here, this is the high that came in. I believe it was the Friday, the 27th of September. Is that correct? Yeah. And therefore we had the high, the high of the month, 66,498. So I've identified that level, and look, it's just holding like a boss. And you will have recalled this month, for the last few days, I have been talking about how much of an important level this was. And even though we wicked below it multiple times, we have come back and closed above it. So Bitcoin is just, Bitcoin is like tether, fake FUD, and war. Sit down. I am just the boss here. And it is acting like an absolute boss there. Now, certainly, if we continue to hold this level, we've retested it numerous times. Now, if we keep banging away on it, eventually we're going to see a drop below. But we do have this golden cross coming. There is this thicker blue line and the lighter light blue line, the 200 simple, are about to cross. And this could happen any moment. Could happen today, could happen tomorrow, but this is about to happen. And we are going to get a golden cross happen for Bitcoin, which is bullish. But you can see a big part of the move was already in. So if you look at the tribal trades trend line, again, another great entry down here, a big part of the move was already in here. You can see that it's gone up. We've had a comeback here, and then it's gone up. So from here, we're up, a $15,000 move here. And even from here, if we got in on what has so far been the October low for the 10th of October, certainly it's been a move of it did get up to about 69. So it's been a significant move. So there's already been a bit of a jump. We already have a higher high here for Bitcoin on the daily. And obviously we have a higher low. And for those who haven't caught the last few days, I'm looking for Bitcoin to get above the $70,100. This is a key level, and this is why we're finding it so hard to get above it. The bears are really looking to push down this price because this there will break through. This is the highest high or the most recent high on the Tribal Trades trend line, okay? And those of you are asking what the Tribal Trades trend line is, it's a trend line that I've drawn. Somebody asked if there's a link to it. No, there's not a link to it. You can draw your own trend lines and learn to draw your trend lines. But you basically take it from, if you're doing it from the top, you'll basically take this high point here and you'll draw a trend line when you see at least 3 touches. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got many touches. This one here was almost a touch. And therefore, that shows that there is a clear trend line that is rejecting price there. And you can also do it to the downside here as well. You can see this one goes back quite some way. And we're not going to go all the way back to where it goes. But you can see where the price is touching it 1, 2, 3, multiple times there. And of course, I have another trend line here where we found this level here that was resistance that has then support, resistance, resistance as we go up. So that is how I map out the trend, and then resistance, and then we're finding it. We broke through it, hit the second trend line, and we are just a few days away, October the 31st, where that first trend line is going to merge. And we could continue it up here, but we won't. But this one here will be the governing trend line to the downside, that if we can get above that and retest that, and obviously that 70,100 is what I'm looking for there. So we've got this trend line to break here to the upside here, around 67. We've got quite a bit, 68, 69, 70. There is a lot of resistance there to get above, and this is going to be a key level. And I think once we break through that, we are going to fly pretty quickly, I think, to the $80,000 level. We'll get to that get to the all-time high first at around 73, 74, break above that, and then we're off to the races. But of course, to the downside, of course, we found support on the EMA ribbons. This is the 2 to the 100 ribbons, which a bunch of EMAs in between there. Certainly, we've seen that come down and find resistance there at the top at about 66. Obviously, we popped back up and found the stronger support, not resistance, the stronger support at 66,500, and we have stayed above that. But when we've wicked down, we found that support at around 66. And then, of course, if we're going further down, we do have further down here the 63,000 level with the 200 simple and the 50-day moving average. Look, some people are saying that we're going to go all the way down here, and look, Bitcoin hasn't even lost this up the top. It hasn't even lost the top EMA on the ribbons, let alone the bottom, let alone the 200 simple, let alone the 50-day moving average, let alone the 200 EMA on the daily, which is sitting at 61. And then if you look on the 4 hour, there is more support there at around the 200 EMA on the 4 hours at 64. So we have got lots of serious levels of support. We've got Lux Algo order block here and also here. So there is a fair amount of support here, and we are going to see this golden cross. This is going to, you should keep an eye on this. That's going to touch. And then we're going to look to see that go up above. And then we're going to see all the tweets and all the YouTubers talking about the golden cross and what happened historically. But I told you about all that over that many, many weeks before that happened, because I saw that coming. And this is going to be a very bullish sign for crypto. So literally, if you were looking to dollar cost average in 66,500 as a level, then there's 66. Then we saw around 65 with the 200 EMA on the 4 hour, 60, 65, 64. And then there's more 64 there at the bottom. And then there's 63. And literally then we're 61. And then we got the Tribal Trades trend line there at 60. So there would be a good, you could almost be like your own trading bot. And that's what I do sometimes, and just layer in the orders there and then just go to bed at night. And if they get hit, they get hit. And so overall, bullish has had a bit of a healthy rebound there from the fake FUD, from the war, that the tensions in the Middle East. And of course, we are about to see a golden cross on Bitcoin. And so I do think that is going to lead to further upside in the near future. Now, could we have a little bit more downside over this weekend here? Generally, institutions are on a break and the order book is a little bit thin. Yes, we could have a little bit more of a shakeout over this weekend, but I would expect sometime in the next week in the next few early days of next week, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, before the end of the month, this golden cross is going to happen, and we could see some very, very nice moves to the upside. Just when will be the moment where we'll break over that tribal trades trend line, and we will take off and not come back, and we will break through a new all-time high. I just remember for October, right now, the October low was set on October 10th, which is about 58,900. And historically speaking, if that ends up being the October low, that Bitcoin in its history has not, in a bull market and halving history, has not gone below that for the remainder of the year. We'll see. History doesn't always repeat, but it often rhymes. And with that, I'm going to leave you to it. And until the next episode, which is in a couple of hours, the Altcoin Show, happy trading.